As some of you will know, I recently returned to the UK. What you might not know is that this was my first visit to my home country in 3 years. A lot has changed. The last time I was there, we had a queen. No one knew anything about COVID, and the UK was still part of the European Union. Perhaps there has never been so many changes to a country in such a small amount of time, and I had missed it all. From family, friends, and the news, I knew about the economic crisis, an increasing number of people having to rely on free food from food banks, the invention of warm spaces, which are public buildings where people go to keep warm because they can't afford to heat their own homes. I knew about the protests, and it seemed the entire country was on strike. I was expecting a depressed, angry place. Arriving in the UK, the impression is not exactly a welcoming one. There are signs warning against everything from disease to domestic violence. There are regular security announcements about your luggage being potentially a security threat and that it may be destroyed. Suspicion, surveillance, and signs. Constant reminders of what you can and cannot do. Mind the gap. Don't run. Hold the handrail when walking down steps. You know you are in the UK when everyone in authority treats you like you are a 5-year-old kid. The first thing I did was get myself a British cup of tea. Cup of tea. I had forgotten how tiny the British coins are. So this is a £1 coin, and you compare this to the 10 dirham coin in Morocco, and this is worth more than this coin, and yet it's so tiny. This is the 5 pence coin. I'd completely forgotten how small they are. It's like toy money. It's so strange. It was fun to meet my family again, to help my nephew make a video about football for his YouTube channel. If you're interested in football, you should check out his channel. What surprised me the most was how quickly everything felt normal. I thought after 3 years I would have difficulty settling in again, but I guess we are all a product of our home nation's culture. Within a day, the British way of life seemed normal. Separate taps for hot and cold water wasn't a strange idea, neither was queuing for everything. Being able to go into a bar and drink alcohol as if it were an everyday event. Certainly, the UK doesn't have the fear of alcohol that is prevalent in Morocco. Blind people with guide dogs, not sticks, as you get in Morocco. In fact, I don't know why Morocco doesn't have a guide dog program for its blind people. Perhaps somebody in the comment section can explain to me why that is the case. It was great to see such a wide array of people, the way they look, the way they dress. It's so different in Morocco, where everyone tends to look very similar. After 3 years away, I had forgotten how different people can look and how little judgment there is of people in the UK. For some outside the UK, it's an unacceptable level of decadence. For others, such differences represent individual freedoms that they crave. But in truth, it's a fake freedom. Everywhere you go in the UK, there are signs telling you how to behave. Even the cycle lanes on empty roads have white lines telling the cyclists and pedestrians when and where to stop. There are constant reminders that you're being watched. It is something that I have always found extremely disturbing and annoying and insulting about the UK. We are treated as if we cannot be trusted. In Morocco, it's the opposite. Everyone is treated with trust until there is good reason to think the opposite. The level of control and surveillance in the UK could never survive in Morocco. Not at the moment. But it's something Moroccans and other developing nations need to be concerned about. Something that struck me a lot was how much the UK has moved to a cashless society in the past 3 years. It looked like every shop had automated cash points that only allowed payment by card. It's just another way that the British can be tracked. In all honesty, there hasn't been much love for the monarchy in the UK for generations. At best, there's a neutral indifference. But that seems to have changed since the Queen, the last bastion of royalty, died. The Queen had elegance and respect. Charles lacks the vibe of, well, majesty. The feeling I got from people was that Charles isn't capable of living up to the high standards set by his mother. Added to that, the scandal involving Harry and Meghan and Andrew has made the royal family look more like media entertainment than royalty. There seems to be little interest in the king's coronation when I was there, with hardly any mention of it at all anywhere, and certainly there wasn't a buzz or a growing excitement. There is, however, a lot of resentment. The coronation will cost the country millions of pounds at a time when people are literally going hungry. And this is why I am selling these hoodies. The link is in the description. Another startling fact is how much COVID is still evident in the UK. In Morocco, COVID, its signs and restrictions disappeared years ago. In the UK, you can still see signs from the time of COVID, and some people who deal with the public directly still wear masks. Evidence of how well Morocco handled COVID in comparison to the UK. In Morocco, a country much poorer than the UK, you see community support everywhere you go. Everyone realizes everyone is struggling, so we all help out. In the UK, people have become much more friendlier to each other than I remember. It's what the British call the Dunkirk spirit, the decision to unite against a common enemy. In the past, that enemy has been another country. Now it's the UK itself, a failed state that no longer seems willing to look after anyone except its super rich. No one smiles in the UK. No one is really happy unless they're drinking alcohol. I'd forgotten actually how much alcohol is used as an escapism in the UK. It's a form of survival. The British don't believe in Britain anymore. They have no positive expectations for the future of the country. When they do look to the future for themselves and their children, they see the same as what they have now. Or they think it's worse. More food shortages, higher cost of living, fewer opportunities, underfunded public services. Yet despite all of this, there is no anger. Sure, there are strikes and protests, but nothing on the scale that we see in France. And that's because the French believe they can change things. The British, they don't. The British don't believe anyone can bring about the necessary improvements to people's lives. Instead, the British are resigned to their hopeless future. And that's the worst thing about the UK. The overwhelming feeling I got of the UK during my holiday was one of lost hope. I wish I could end this video on a much more positive note, but I can't. In truth, I am glad I no longer live in my home country. Britain is a country that had its time in the sun, one that never set on its great empire. Britain is a country of the past. For the future they deserve, the British will have to move to another country. I recommend Morocco.